What's going on, everybody? It is Triple Crown 24 back for day 2 of the National, my recap video today. And this one, it was a fun day, let me just put it that way. I thought it was better than day 1 in a lot of areas. There were some things that I wasn't as keen on day 2, but I'm not going to harp on those here in this video. We'll keep it positive. I get a few gifts from some friends. Sean T-Ford, I met up with him at one point during the show, and he hooked me up with some Tigers autographs for the collection. So I do appreciate that. And then my friend Brian hooked me up with this awesome Kirk Gibson autograph. Those are already in the suitcase, and I didn't get those out for the video, so I apologize on that. But I'll try to show those off at a future date. In terms of what I ended up with, I actually only have 6 cards here that I'm still in possession of. So why don't we go ahead and go through it. So one of the cards that I purchased was at trade night. I did go to the official National trade night. There's trade nights here every single night, but I picked up 2 cards. The first one here is this really awesome downtown Lou Gehrig. I have been told by several dealers and just from my own observations that a lot of these downtown kaboom type cards of the retired players, especially in baseball, really don't sell all that well in terms of being able to move them. They're not as liquid, I guess you could say. For me, I really haven't had that issue. I think every single one that I've ever had, not saying that I've had a massive amount, but they've moved in a decent amount of time. So maybe it's just that they were too high on price or some other factor. But I saw this Gehrig. I gave up my Terry McLaurin RPA with some cash, and something that I didn't remind too much. I wasn't into the McLaurin for all that much, so went ahead and jumped on this awesome Gehrig downtown. Speaking of older players, my 49 Bowman Stay Unusual is already gone. I did end up trading that for one of the cards you'll see here in a moment. But there was also a second one that I picked up later on, and there was a fellow YouTuber who scooped it up off me a little bit later on in the day. I won't say who it is, no spoilers, because I'm sure if you're watching this one, you'll probably be checking out other recap videos, and you'll see it in his, but I'll just go ahead and say it. I changed my mind. It's Don's Field of Dreams, so I don't want to, spoil what it looked like or everything. I let him show it off, but I was happy that we could work out a deal and add that into his collection. So let's show off some things I actually held on to. Here's the other trade night acquisition. I was very tempted not to get this card, but I was given a price that was just, it was basically at a price where, you know what, I'm going to take a chance on it. It's the 2022 Topps Inception Wander Franco. And this is the blue parallel number to 25. I did a few breaks and whatnot for Inception, both as the breaker myself, and then just joining a few that were mixers that had Inception. And these blues are extremely tough. You might get one in a case being out of 25, sometimes even less than that. So, and they have a stated print run, so you know how many of them are out there, but not an easy pull. They're also extremely sensitive. It's a thicker card, and there's oftentimes they come out of the pack with whitening on the corners, but here you see did come back as the Gem Mint 10. I was talking to the guy, and I actually overheard his conversation with someone else he was talking to, and he said that this was the only baseball card he had, and he was trying to get out of it just because he's not a baseball guy. So whenever I hear that, I'm like, okay, well, I've got all the sports, I'll definitely take a listen. So he was interested in my Mahomes Flawless Diamond, and the problem with that card is that there were, I guess, some lower sales recently, and it made some people uncomfortable. I wasn't too uncomfortable with that when I acquired it, just because it's Mahomes, but he ended up coming back with a cash offer that was well below my expectations for what he wanted for this card. And I'm basically into it for half the price of what the only recorded sale was. And a lot of dealers here like to play the game that, oh, well, it's sold for this one time, so that's what it's worth now until the end of time. Like, I can't pay more than what it's sold for this one time. even though they price their stuff well above that. But again, different story for a different day. So the only sale on this one was around 900. Do I expect to get that from this? No, not really, but I do think that maybe someone will bite on this on the show floor today, and those who want to play the game of, well, there was only one sale ever, we'll see if that narrative changes when I bring that one to the table. So there's that. This one is just one that I'll probably hold on to. I'll put it up in the store, but it won't be for cheap. It's the 2013 Brady 5-star base. I'm a sucker for the products like this where they have the base. I wish they still did that. I know that to some it might just be a base card, but they're really good looking cards. They do a great job of them. I know that the NT base have really exploded over the years. People seem to really enjoy those much more than they did in the past. So this Brady is awesome. Love it. So I feel like I'm going through my pickups really quickly here. I did go to the Topps Q&A. I'm actually going to the Panini NFT party. I know I probably seem out of place there later today. Hopefully I'll get to meet Barry Sanders, which would be super cool as a Lions fan, Detroit sports fan. But there were 3 autographs that you could get at the Topps Q&A last night. Typically, if you're not familiar with it, they do 1 autograph subject, and the 150 people that get to attend the Q&A, you get 1 of the 150 of that one guy. And usually it ties into whoever the hot rookie is or wherever the city is at. So 18 in Cleveland, it was Francisco Lindor. 19 was Pete Alonso. And then last year was Luis Robert, which was probably because we were in Chicago. So there was a lot of speculation about who it was going to be this year. You know, was it going to be a Yankee player? Was it going to be Judge? That would be pretty cool. Was it going to be a Philly like Harper? That would be pretty sweet. Or was it going to be a Philly like, no offense to them, but Alec Boehm or Reese Hoskins? And that would be like, maybe. But no, they ended up doing something completely different out of left field. So they did 3 separate autograph subjects, which I believe this is the first time that they've done that. And you got Bobby Witt Jr. was one of the 3, and they're numbered to 50. Here was the second one, and this was actually Josh rated rookies, one that he got, and I made a trade with him just because I gave him my Kershaw Sapphire and figured give him a Dodgers card, sweet looking Kershaw for his collection, and I get the Hunter Green in return that I can definitely bring back to Cincinnati and move fairly easily. There's a lot of people down there who are really big on Hunter Green. He's had some pretty solid starts. Not the best start to his career, but he plays in Great American Small Park, and he doesn't necessarily have a ton of run support, so I think he'll get there. He'll be a good player. Just needs to continue to develop. So that was one of the 3, and there's Bobby Witt Jr. And then there was this one. This is the one that I ended up with. A little J-Rod action, right? And again, these are numbered to 50. So this is one of those that I plan on taking with me to the show today to try to hopefully move around. And we'll see if I can move it. I already had one offer at trade night, and just talking with people and how excited they were, I was just kind of getting a vibe of what to expect price-wise out of this card. And I really do think that it wouldn't shock me if I got an offer for 500 plus on this, which is absolutely insane to me. But I'll probably just shop it around, see if I can get an offer that I feel comfortable with, and take it. I mean, all I did was show up to the Q&A for an hour, so I'm not going to be hard pressed to milk every single cent I can out of this thing, but I also don't want to let it go for, dirt cheap, right? So that'll be one that we'll see what happens today. That will definitely be one of the goals for day 3. All right, last but not least, this is the big boy. Not even my biggest card, I guess, because of the Trout Atomic that I wasn't expecting to get, but 2021 Contenders Trevor Lawrence autograph. I briefly talked about this in a past video, that this was a card that I was looking for multiple reasons, that I won't get into today. You guys know I'm long-winded, so I don't want to take 20 minutes to explain why I was really keen on getting this card in this specific grade. I'm typically not the by the grade type of guy, but in this case I was. It's, you know, I guess I could get to say this because I'm not the one who sent it in, but it seems a bit harsh on the grading. It's centered pretty well. The back has just like maybe the slightest touch of whitening, and unless there's like something on the surface that I am not seeing here, I think a 9 is maybe a tad harsh. Like this top right corner is the only thing that, but it's just the smallest touch of white. So is that enough to knock it down? Who knows? But I'm happy with the 9. I'm not going to crack it or anything. It's one of those things that I thought was interesting, because the 10 that looked nearly identical to this was 3.5 times the asking price of what this one was. So this is where the original 49 Mutual went to before I ended up getting the second one, and I had to add some cash as well. A lot of the dealers were trying to lowball me on that Mutual that I had purchased, so I was thinking, well, I'm probably gonna have to you know, take this one back home if I want to end up moving it. But the dealer here, he really valued it up there with where I had it at. So that was definitely a good sign that we were going to work out a deal. And he had a couple of other really nice pieces, but I just couldn't pull the trigger on him. Just not willing to go for it. So this one here, I'm extremely happy with it. Now, will I have this for a long time? Who knows? I want to get my number before I'm willing to move it. But I've had some offers come pretty close already, and a lot of people have asked about it when they've asked to see my stuff, or even at trade nights. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll never say never, but it could be moved as soon as today. Who knows? So that was it for day 2, everybody. It is time for me to get ready here to face the world once again for day 3. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Take care, stay safe, be kind.